Welcome to Dot Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. It's good to have you with us. Coming up in today's show, Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers hand over keys to 100 homes to lucky recipients in Padang, West Sumatra. In Taiwan, Gambia exchange students from Taipei University of Technology visit a local recycling station to try their hand at sorting recyclables. Lastly, we see how the book publishing industry has changed since the introduction of tablet computers and e-books. We start today's show in Indonesia, where Tzu Chi volunteers built 100 houses for the poor of Padang, with the lucky recipients recently arriving to pick up the keys to their new homes. As well, the Tzu Chi Foundation and the Padang government signed a memorandum of understanding for future cooperation.
Different faith, but their goal is the same, which is to work on behalf of the needy. Here in Indonesia, West Sumatra, the Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter and local investors built 100 houses in Padang City for those in need. As well, in order to continue providing quality care for local residents, the government of Padang signed a memorandum of understanding with Tzu Chi.
I hope that residents feel grateful for the help of Tzu Chi, especially those that now find themselves as new homeowners. In the future, we want to continue to work to ensure children here receive quality medical care and education to help change their lives for the better.
This family was constantly moving to find the cheapest rent for housing that was big enough to accommodate them. That search is now over.
Sangat senang sekali, Bu.
I'm very happy and very thankful. Before, we had no place to call home, but now with the home, we don't need to rent like we did in the past. I'm so happy.
Picking up their keys, these proud new homeowners have only gratitude for the help and compassion of Tzu Chi.
In the Philippines, we meet Tzu Chi care recipient Sincerely Ramirez, who has 8 children. During the day, Ramirez usually stays at home to look after his 3 mentally challenged kids. Not until his children fall asleep will the father leave home to work as a pedicab driver. Now, thanks to Tzu Chi's assistance, the family's living condition is vastly improved. To reciprocate, Ramirez has started doing recycling and adopted a bamboo coin bank. Giving medication to his son is Tzu Chi care recipient Sincerely Ramirez. Every night after he puts his boys to sleep, he goes out for his job.
Araw po, aalis po ako doon, nagising siya.
If I leave them during daytime, they will get rowdy and wild, so I decided to stay at home to take care of them.
Tutuwa rin ako sa kanya dahil talagang
I know his situation and I'm very impressed by what he does. He is a responsible father, providing whatever his family needs.
dapat gampanan ng isang magulang.
3 boys of Ramirez suffers mental disabilities. Among them is Jason, who has to take sedatives every day. However, the expense of such medication was simply unaffordable for Ramirez, as he earns less than $5 a day. So he sought help from Tzu Chi 3 years ago.
Pinili ko na po yung Tzu Chi.
When I was passing the Tzu Chi Great Love campus, I saw the words love and compassion. It was then I tried to ask help from Tzu Chi.
Every month, volunteers bring a 40-kilo bag of rice and monetary aid to cover his boys' medical expenses. Showing his gratitude, Ramirez collects plastic bottles and puts coins in his bamboo coin bank every day.
Para gumaling po sila.
I will keep taking care of my children and provide anything they need. They are my children. This is what I have to do.
Fully devoting himself to the family, Ramirez believes that God is looking after him, as he sent Tzu Chi volunteers his way. Moving to Malaysia, a floating village in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, suffered a devastating fire back in March, affecting over 2,000 people. In early April, Tzu Chi volunteers handed out daily necessities twice and emergency cash once. Meanwhile, Kota Kinabalu volunteers also paid return visits to fire survivors to hand out scholarships for children to continue with their schooling, bringing warmth in this time of need for these impoverished families.
In Malaysia, earlier this year in March, a fire devastated a floating village in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, affecting over 2,000 residents. At the time, Kota Kinabalu Tzu Chi volunteers held 3 aid distributions, 2 for daily necessities and 1 for emergency cash. Among the recipients is 23-year-old Nuri binti Suhaibun, who is a recent single mother taking care of 3 young children. The damages from the fire added to her already difficult life. When volunteers heard of her situation, they took action, and since April have started subsidizing her income.
Saya tidak sangka lah orang tidak satu.
I never thought Chinese people would be the ones to help me. I'm very grateful and thankful for your assistance. With this money, I can feed my children. Although this amount isn't much, but at least my kids and I will not starve.
In the aftermath of the fire, lives for local residents have not improved. Thus, volunteers hope to change things for the better by providing scholarship assistance for children in need. 36-year-old Lina Sulaiman has 6 children and relies solely on her husband's income from fishing.
Itu duit tidak cukup lah untuk anak-anak semua sekolah.
The money we make isn't enough to send our kids to school, but with Tzu Chi's help, they can continue with their schooling because the children are our future. When we are old, if the kids aren't educated, then we will live a difficult life as well. If the children are educated and able to provide for themselves, then as parents, we have done our job right.
Sendiri, diorang boleh berjaya. Ibu bapak pun ikut senang, ikut gembira.
Volunteers take the opportunity to visit other impoverished families in the area, hoping to help more needy students by giving them the ability to leave poverty behind.
In Taiwan, on June 4th, 20 students from Gambia braved torrential rains to visit Jiliu Recycling Station in Taipei's Zhongzhen district. In addition to helping with paper and PET sorting, the students also tried their hand at the more difficult plastic bag recycling. Volunteers hope that the students will remember what they learned at the recycling station and spread the message of recycling once they are back home.
Cutting tape off the paper, a group of students from Gambia, currently studying at Taipei University of Technology, tries their hand at sorting recyclables, a job they never imagined could be so complex.
You have to cut the papers. Some of them, they have chemicals. You remove the parts that have chemicals, and you put them in the other cells. The other parts that have chemicals, they cannot recycle those ones. They say they have to throw them.
These 20 students are currently studying in Taiwan on scholarship, and this trip to the recycling center was arranged by their advisor, who hopes the group can take away some life lessons during their time in Taiwan. The visit is a fruitful one as everyone comes away with a clear understanding of the different types of recyclables.
The B is the plastic that you can stretch. Okay, you can stretch, so that means it's the PE. And then you need to separate them, 2 kinds, because that's the one that can be recycled. 2 kinds. That's the white that has no color, that is plain white, and then the one that has color. I think that's how far I can go.
In addition to doing recycling, the students also watch a video introducing low carbon and energy saving concepts. Volunteers hope that one day these students can be ambassadors for such ideas.
We hope that what you have learned and experienced here today in this recycling station, you can utilize in your daily life once you have returned home.
The afternoon leaves these students enriched and much more aware of the preciousness of their earth resources.
Next, we meet Liu Zhongxin, who is a security guard at the Juren Junior High School in Taichung City, Taiwan. The 65-year-old senior has served at the school for 13 years and has remained dedicated to his post, safeguarding the well-being of students and staff. Liu says as long as he is healthy, he will continue to serve. It has become a habit for students to go to Liu Zhongxin for all issues, big or small, and he never turns them down. The coin bank is always filled with spare change for students who need to make a call home. Known as Papa Liu, after 13 years of service guarding the Juren Junior High School, Papa Liu treats all students like his own children.
There used to be a table tennis team here, and about 40 or 50 players would live at school. I would look after them, and if they were injured or ill, I took them to the Taichung hospital. That's when they started calling me Papa Liu.
The nickname brings Liu much warmth and comfort. He can always be seen patrolling the school premises, keeping the teachers and students safe, and the school's principal respects him very much.
He is very dedicated and responsible. He is a person who deserves our respect.
Over the decades, Liu has dedicated himself in silence. He says so long as he is needed, he will not retire.
I will do this job until the school doesn't need me anymore, even if it means working till I'm 80.
Also in Taiwan, in response to a request of the Taipei Social Welfare Department, Wanhua Tzu Chi volunteers came together to help a solitary senior clean up his home. The senior cannot move around easily following a stroke, and his house filled up with recyclables that became unhygienic. Thanks to the volunteers' help, his house now has a bright new look.
Inside this small room, items and garbage are scattered everywhere, and foul odors fill the air. It is hard to imagine that someone lives here. Upon receiving a request from Taipei's Department of Social Welfare, Tzu Chi volunteers soon arrived to help clean up. Among the piles of garbage, volunteers sorted out kitchen utensils, clothes, quilts, and broken appliances, and then they thoughtfully asked the senior how to deal with these scenes.
His grandpa is old. He collected many recyclables. You see, there's so much stuff. You know, it's summer now. Bugs and mosquitoes are coming out. So we are here to help him clean up and give him a comfortable living environment.
As volunteers are cleaning up, cockroaches are found everywhere. Volunteers also find a pile of entangled electrical wires, which could potentially lead to an electrical fire.
I will not collect these recyclables anymore.
There is too much garbage here. It was impossible for the social worker to clean it up all on his own. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers are here to help. The senior told the social worker that he was happy to have Tzu Chi volunteers help him clean up.
Carefully categorizing the garbage, volunteers then move it all outside the apartment, as garbage collectors will later arrive to collect it.
The garbage collectors are due to arrive at 1:30. When the borough officer saw so much garbage, she was shocked and called them to come immediately, as the volunteers are still around and able to help out.
The crawling cockroaches no longer make this place their home, as volunteers spare no effort in giving the home a fresh new look. And to thank Tzu Chi, the senior decides to donate the coins found inside his room during the cleanup.
The development of online retailers in recent years has slowly become a threat to traditional brick-and-mortar stores. Furthermore, the invention of e-books and e-readers has taken a further piece of the book market. Let's see now how online bookstores and e-books have changed our reading habits and the publishing and bookstore industry as a whole.
Walking inside Taiwan's first 24-hour bookstore, we see crowds of people reading. However, very few seem to be making purchases. Does this mean that people don't like to read books anymore, or that people don't make purchases at retail bookstores anymore? With the development of internet technology, the use of online shopping has increased to a great extent, and purchasing books online has become a major trend. Using Taiwan's largest online bookstore as an example, buyers can place a book order online and receive their package simply by going to a nearby convenience store.
Nowadays, people spend more time on the internet, so they are more attached to the online world. Right now, it is very easy for readers to search and purchase a book online. Online bookstores enable consumers to make a purchase any time of the day, so it's likely that the time spent at a retail bookstore will be less.
compared to traditional retail bookstores where space and hours of operation are restricted. Online bookstores do not have these problems. And as online booksellers have lower overhead, the price of books will be cheaper too.
网络消费者的特色，第一个是有目的性。
One of the characteristics of online buyers is target and the other is price. I think customers are trained to think that they can always purchase products cheaper
会
online.
学习到说，在网络上面好像到处都可以捡便宜。
So does that mean that Taiwanese don't like to read books anymore? The expansion of online bookstores can maybe provide us with an answer. In 2009, Taiwan's retail bookstores had a turnover of approximately $660 million. In 2010, the revenue dropped to less than $600 million. And in 2011, the turnover dropped again to about $560 million. In just 3 years, the revenue has dropped more than 15%.
不只是网络书店，其实
Not only are online bookstores affecting the survival of traditional retail bookstores, but many think that the introduction of a table computer in 2010 has started a new reading revolution.
And we call it the iPad.
The iPad has changed our reading habits and transformed the e-book market. However, talking about e-books, no discussion would be complete without mentioning the e-reader launched by the world's largest online bookstore, Amazon.
That's a Kindle, right?
Yeah, it's a new Kindle Paperwhite.
它其实没有什么太大的后置成
The
本。
cost for post-production is not a lot. When a book publishing company uploads a book to an e-reader platform, it will automatically be transformed into an e-book. The Kindle, which was developed by Amazon, was popular because the online bookstore already had a platform where they could provide e-books to readers right away.
Thanks to new technology, Tzu Chi has also started using e-readers as a way to save trees. However, compared to Europe and North America, reading e-books is not as popular in Taiwan due to limited e-book titles and licensing issues.
出版商并不是把书给平台。
In Taiwan, book publishing companies not only have to upload books to a platform, but also have to consider the cost of post-production. First, each book has to be turned into a digital file. Next, the file has to be transformed again into other digital files that can be read in different e-readers.
In spite of the current limitation of e-books in Taiwan, experts have suggested that in the near future, reading e-books will become a major trend in Taiwan. Therefore, without smart planning, traditional retail bookstore may soon become endangered.
Chinese calligraphers in China's Suzhou want to do their part to help the victims of the recent Ya'an earthquake. Teaming up with Tzu Chi for the first time, some 80 artists donated over 90 pieces of artwork to be sold, including those that came from Beijing, Shanghai, and Taiwan. Together, some 200 pieces were exhibited at the Suzhou Jingsi Books and Cafe. The response was overwhelming, with half of the artwork already purchased on the first day of the auction. Chinese calligraphers in China's Suzhou are donating their work to a Tzu Chi's fundraiser, joining other pieces from Beijing, Shanghai, and Taiwan.
Some of the pieces came from Taiwan. They were purchased through previous charity auctions and now have been donated to raise funds again.
Many have already made a purchase during the May preview.
I think that those who donated their work are very compassionate people.
The meaning has surpassed the value of these pieces.
The Suzhou Calligraphers Association holds a charity fundraiser annually and is partnering up with Tzu Chi for the first time this year to help the victims of the recent Ya'an earthquake.
By donating to Tzu Chi Foundation, the foundation will in turn pass the money on to those in need. Society needs charity organizations like Tzu Chi.
10-year-old Feng Jieni is the youngest donating artist. In one night, she completed 2 lotus flower paintings.
Some mothers didn't have time to take alone baby formulas, so I thought the proceeds from my work could help buy new formulas.
And the oldest artist is Niu Yulan, who is already 82. Both of their works have already sold out.
By giving to charity and doing good deeds, we can elevate our quality of life.
The charity fundraiser also gives local entrepreneurs an opportunity to get to know Tzu Chi.
Normally, he goes about his business without thinking about giving to charity. I told him that he should come here to experience Tzu Chi. When I ran into him earlier, he said it feels pretty good and he will come again.
At the end of the auction, the Tzu Chi Calligraphers Association in China is formed to help continue the relay of love. Moving our focus to the United States, both San Jose and Los Angeles Tzu Chi Academy in California recently held graduation ceremonies. Taking away everyone's best wishes, it is hoped that these graduates will continue to put Tzu Chi's humanitarian spirit into practice and contribute to society.
The month of June is graduation month in the United States, and today 6 students are graduating from the Tzu Chi Academy in Los Angeles.
If you can take what you have learned here, more importantly, take the master's wisdom into society, this will be the best way to put what you have learned into practice.
You're all welcome to join as Tzu Saos or Tzu Chings, or to follow in the Tzu Chi aunties and uncles with the Dai fathers and mothers' footsteps to serve the greater good.
The lineage of Tzu Chi's humanitarianism not only brought about change in children, but parents as well.
He often shares Master Zhen Yanxing's aphorisms with us. He talks about it. I think these words of wisdom really have opened our heart.
Since coming here, he has become more independent, which is great.
The graduation ceremony at San Jose's Tzu Chi Academy debuted a special sign language performance by teachers and parents. Amid their busy work schedule, parents nonetheless took the weekend to perfect their movements.
When I was rehearsing, my daughter and son would sing along and practice with me. There was really the sense of family in that moment.
It was remarkable that everyone set aside time to attend the rehearsals.
In sync with the music, each movement displays the solemn beauty of the group and ends the graduation ceremony on a perfect note.
Returning to Taiwan, to allow anyone in a wheelchair to freely access the city's restaurants, Taipei City is issuing accessibility certification to those who pass inspection. The city's landmark, Taipei 101, is a forerunner, and this initiative has expanded to other major restaurants in the city as well, allowing those in wheelchairs to enjoy a quality time dining out.
Tables tall enough to accommodate wheelchairs and a space wide enough to maneuver them freely, such accessible dining space has everything to offer any wheelchair user to enjoy a delicious meal.
Anyone can enjoy a meal here with peace of mind.
We can now enjoy the same privileges as everyone.
From the entrance to the seating at the table, as well as the restroom, has been thoughtfully designed. Taipei's landmark, Taipei 101, is the first to join this initiative, and this campaign will soon expand to other major restaurants in the city.
Restaurants larger than 300 square meters in size needs to comply. The 690 restaurants on our watch list will be issued warnings. Once the changes have been made, we will give them an accessibility certification.
This initiative will give wheelchair users the opportunity to enjoy fine dining and a great time out.
Finally, as next week is the Dragon Boat Festival, Tzu Chi volunteers invited residents to the Tzu Chi Guandu grounds to make traditional sachets. Each portable pouch is uniquely different, but filled with the same blessings and ability to repel bugs. We will leave you with these images. Goodbye.